Nice to meet you too. Well, actually, I met you before. I got to interview you for Betty.
Oh, that was four
Yeah,
years ago.
that was a long time ago. So this is our little reunion.
Yeah, well, so nice to see you again.
Thanks. So let's talk about Give Me Your Eyes. This film, I bet it took a little extra preparation because you're getting to play a role where you're blind. So this is a whole different dynamic.
Yes, yes, it is. It was crazy to me because, let's say, the first time I read the script, I was so amazed by it. I was like, this is so amazing. Like the story, the script for me is just amazing. The fact they portray Alejandra like that, like so fierce and so strong. And of course, she's scared of everything that she's going through, but despite that she's blind, she doesn't really see that as something that she can't, like move on with. Like she's so used to that. So me as an actor, like I have to be that comfortable with being able to not see things. And how do you do that? Like I was filming at that time another series in Mexico. So all my morning routine was blind. So I had to get up 1 hour earlier than usual so I could do everything but with a bandana on, like, like on top of my head, like just for me to be able to feel what she felt every day. And you have to memorize where you put everything. Because if you don't, then it's a problem. So I started to understand, parts of the script where she gets scared because of a chair is not in the same position. It's like, how is that scary? Well, for a blind person, it is. Because you didn't left it there, because you remember that. Because if you don't, you might trip over. So someone's in there. So like this whole like construction, I was just exploring my everyday life being blind, especially in the morning routine and going for walks. When I was in LA, I went to LA prior to the movie, and it was really hard because the world is also not designed for any kind of disability. So it was crazy for me, like, to leave that in a way, because I could just like take the bandana off or the glasses and be like, I need you to move or whatever, but like people can't. People really can't. So it was just like opening my eyes in so many different levels. And as an actor, it was hard. Also, like how do I do this without um like making it with dignity, like with the dignity that it needs to be done. And the same thing for the story, because the story is so beautiful, and the disconnection that Alejandra and Jael have between each other, I just think that's beautiful.
Get to see it in one of the scenes where just your character trips over and they're on a bench and it's like, no, I telling her friend, like, no, it was not there before, I know. And people like us, it's like it's hard to understand that, like, well, maybe you did forget, but you don't forget something like that when it's part of your safety.
Exactly, you don't forget, it's part of your safety. And also, like, there was this, for example, this might sound dumb, but my bottles of shampoo and conditioner, they felt almost the same, but there was a smell. So I had to put them in like the same exact position every day. Because if not, I was not giving Ellie for any permission. I was like, I'm not doing my hair today. Am I going to show, like, I'm going to set it showing like this. Like, so I had to put everything in the same position every day. And that's something that at least I learned that blind people have to do. Not because they want to control everything, but because you want to remember what everything is, so you know where is easy stuff, like your soul, like easy things. So let alone a chair, because you gotta sit, you don't want to fall, you don't want to hurt yourself. And also she's so comfortable with the house and like going down the stairs, for example, without seeing, because we're so used to, it's a muscle, right? I was talking to my acting coaches, he was telling me it's a muscle, so you just gotta be more aware of your other muscles, like of your other senses, like just try to pay more attention into like other things, like smell, like how does something feel. And we often don't take time to check those things out, and I did for this film, and I just think that was one of the most exciting parts, rediscovering the world or like my everyday life through different things, as like smell and touching things, or like just hearing things, and being able to say, oh, that's a door closing, or that's a door opening, or like things like that that sometimes you might think, oh, that doesn't really matter. And also, you know, when Alejandra is scared, I guess it's like a different kind of scared, because she comes from a family of narcos. So the concept of danger is so different too. Like I might, if I hear something, I'll be fucking freaking out, jumping out of the like my balcony probably. But she has listened to that before, and like drugs and like all this world, that she's more like, okay, I'm scared, but I need to focus, and I need to, you know, like have an objective, and I need to be smart. And I've learned all these things because I knew they were coming. Like also living with the fear, or not the fear, but like knowing that someone is coming for you and you don't know when. It's kind of like she was expecting it. So this first goal that she has, you know, in her room, and she's like, yes, I'm scared. There's someone in my house. I was like, I would be more like freaked out. But it's like, she knew they were coming. And now she know they're here. And if she freaks out, she's gonna get killed. So she's like this mixture of things that Alejandra is so powerful that I wish I had 5% of her courage.
She would be more scared, but than her friend. Her friend, I feel like she was just more like more frightened. I feel like she was more frightened for Alejandra.
Yeah. I feel that has to do with context as well. You know, in Mexico, and this might sound weird, but I grew up in El Estado de Mexico. So driving from El Estado de Mexico to Mexico City, I've seen dead people. I mean, it sounds terrible, I know, but many people have like hasn't, and it's okay. Like I don't wish like, oh, I'm not gonna say that's normal, because it's not. It's terrible. And the first time I saw it, I was super frightened. But then the third, you're like, oh, this is terrible, but I've seen this before. So it's just like context has a lot to do with that. And also like her being from a family that does that. I guess it's just in your blood. Like you have to be like, how do you manage to leave those things without them hurting you so much? So yeah, Jael, I think it's a really important key part of this story. You know, this friendship that they develop, being so different, but at the same time they're so close to each other, and how one helps the other, and not just in the obvious way, which is I'm gonna help you getting out of here, but it's just also like, I'm going to help you believe in you, and I'm gonna help you leave your house, and you're gonna help me be alive, and you're gonna help me literally, for both ways, see more world. And I just think that's something that friendship does, like a really good and healthy friendship. You know, there's these moments where they just feel like it's gonna be over, and it's not. And I guess it's just like life. Sometimes I've been like, oh my God, this is about to be over, and then something really bad happens, and you just gotta chill, breathe, and keep fighting and like walking, or whatever situation puts you in. So I love that relationship, Jael, Alejandra, and I love how even if Jael is not there, is so scared, because she's a woman that is pretty much scared of everything. She never leaves her house. And I just feel having these two female characters that are so not just physically different, but like different in history, context, who they are, where they come from, connecting so good and becoming like so good friends. I just think it's just beautiful.
It was. Can we talk about Mauricio Ochmann, who plays Juan? I mean, I love him. I loved his work, just like with yours. But there's one line that he says in the film that I loved. Con la noche viene la fortaleza. With what? With the dark comes the strength. That's the
Yeah.
best translation I could come up with.
Yeah. Wow. It is a beautiful night. And that's in the translation is beautiful. I didn't thought about it like that. But it is true. Like I recognize that like now going personal, in my life, I've been through really hard times and I feel that I didn't have a choice. I just had to be strong. And when you're there, you don't. I've never shared this before, but there was a time that I saw my brother almost dying. And I couldn't cry. I was just, like I had to solve the issue because I stopped and cry about it. He was gonna die. So I was like, I need to solve this. I need to get the right people here. I need to get him into the right place. I'm not gonna help him I'm not, if I cry, I'm not gonna help. And I didn't even thought about crying. I wasn't like, oh, I wasn't crying. I was just like, and I cried after like a week. And it was like, wait, this is the first time I cried since that happened. Because I was so busy, And I feel like Alejandra is a little bit like that, like, and then just like, I'm frustrated, and I'm like, I want to fucking cry, but they're following me, and if I stop and cry, I'm not gonna get out of here. And then, yeah, all her strength, sadly, comes from that darkness, right? Like from that night, from everything that she has been through. She has that courage, and it's even like maybe stronger in her life because she can't see anything. She literally sees black, but she has this energy that takes her with like anywhere she wants, and she's not. I feel like she doesn't see herself as someone who can't do things. She's just like, oh, this is just part of me, and it's okay. And I learned a lot about that, about her. I was shocked by the script. And yeah, Mauricio is lovely. I've known him for a little bit. When we started working, we were filming in Utah, in Salt Lake City and Provo. And for me, it was hard because I was the only Mexican in the whole crew and the only Spanish speaker in the whole crew. So I kind of miss speaking Spanish. Also, like in the everyday life, I was speaking English, but Spanish is so close to my heart that when he got to Utah, he had the same thing. He was like, I need to speak Spanish. I was like, me too. And we we spent hours just speaking Spanish because it was something that we needed. And those things about identity or about like who you are, you don't realize them until you're far from home, until you know someone who's from your same context in a way. So that connection between Alejandra, I think is so pretty because he's teaching her everything she needs to know. And also we are showing there's many ways of having a family, and I think that's beautiful too. Because he didn't have to do everything he did. I mean, the character, but he decides to do it because he loves his best friend, which is, this couple. And he decides to do it because, yeah, love is just stronger than anything else. And working with him was amazing. He's such a sweetheart. He's so open to play. We improvise. Gary, the director, he's amazing. We talk through the relationship. We build that world when they were when she was younger and he was younger too, I guess. So yeah, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. Even though we were making a thriller, we laughed a lot on set, also with Hunter, because something that I think is interesting is that Hunter never left me. So it's not like someone who wasn't Hunter was reading. She was reading for me, and I was reading for her. So when she did her house, the whole apartment, I was there too, giving her Alejandra's voice with Alejandra's intention, because it is different. So, and she was doing that for me as well. There was a couple scenes where she couldn't be there, or that I couldn't be there because we were filming like other things or just doing something else. But most of the film, I would say, 80% of the film, we were there for each other. And I think that's beautiful because she didn't have to do that. So she didn't have to do that, and I didn't have to do that. So I just think really helped as actors, you know, like I fed on her and she fed on me, and yeah, I really love the result.
I enjoyed it, and right now people can watch it what Amazon Prime Video in Latin America. When is it coming over here
I have
to the
no
US?
idea. I think it's gonna happen soon. It is crazy because it's in English and it's in Latin America first. I hope everyone likes it. I'm really, really excited of and proud of what we created. I haven't watched the final cut, so I'm gonna go watch it probably when I land today in my hotel.
Thank you again for your time and congratulations. We look forward to seeing it here in the US.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and so nice to see you again.